Good morning. It's Valerie Ling, clinical psychologist here. How are you this morning? It's once again a bit of a dark, grey skied morning over here in Sydney where I am. Hoping that maybe you're having some better weather where you are. All right. Yesterday I spent some lovely time with a group of school principals. Hi Kim, thanks for joining me. School principals, and actually it turned out to be not just school principals, but also school administrators and leaders within the school. You spend a lot of time at schools, Kim, so you probably know all about the kinds of things that they actually deal with. Let me know, Kim, what your thoughts are as you see the pressures that are placed on our teachers and our school administration systems and principals. What can we do to help? So as we were going through our session yesterday, a comment came up that sometimes we may not actually realize that the different roles that we play in our personal life as well as our professional lives are full. And it makes it difficult to actually spend some time in a mindful space, decompressing some of that material. And it actually reminded me of a poem that I encountered when I was in either year 11 or year 12. We were studying the American poet Sylvia Plath, who had a very, very sad and hard life and story, and a lot of her poetry reflects that. Now, I wish I could tell you what the poem was, and if anybody watching this can Google or know the Sylvia Plath poem I'm looking for, I would be so grateful, because I have tried earnestly to find this poem, because at the tender age of 17, it really struck me. The poem that Sylvia Plath wrote was a poem that basically talked about the various hats that, in her case, a woman wears. And my memory of the poem was that it was a very vivid description and illustration of, the various types of hats. One with feathers, probably one that is a little bit more down to earth and practical. And I remember being struck by that, because obviously at the tender age of about 17, you don't have that many hats that you're wearing. You only really have that vision that, oh my gosh, I've got to get through these exams. But as the poem progressed, it really spoke about the drain and the challenge of constantly changing those hats and the weight of wearing those hats. And I thought that that's what was being reflected really in what our conversations yesterday at my seminar. And that is, hi Alison, thanks for joining me. And that is, we don't realize how many multiple roles we play in our life. But if you're also in a caring situation, which is where burnout sets in, we may not actually have taken into consideration the number of giving roles we have either. I wonder if you did a personal audit for yourself today, how many hats you find yourself wearing. Perhaps you have to tutor someone. Perhaps you have to physically care for someone. Maybe you're mentoring someone. Maybe you're coaching someone. Maybe in your personal life, you actually have a friend that's going through a really difficult time at the moment. And maybe you yourself are playing a role for yourself in terms of being self-compassionate and caring for yourself. And it occurred to me that if we actually really sat down and wrote down all of those giving and caring roles, we might actually be surprised. The other thing that occurred to me is we may actually find that we might actually minimize some of the spaces or roles that we are playing, thinking that, oh, look, everybody does that, or that's just a little one. But perhaps that could actually be the one that was weighing much more significantly on you in terms of the emotional material that you're wearing. And so when you're thinking about decompressing, which is essentially releasing yourself from the material and processing and it being in a mindful space to let some of that go, sometimes we actually need to know which role requires that decompression, which role and which caring space is the one that's most pressing on us. So I encourage you to perhaps reflect on that. and send me your thoughts and comments maybe about an experience you might have where this was actually an issue for you. And of course, if anybody could find me that Sylvia Plath poem, I would be so grateful. Have a great day.